Hey everybody, it's Krista, and I know I've been missing for a little bit, but I have been swamped at work. This is not how I intended to start this video, but I came out on the porch and my goats were in my garden and in my greenhouse. And so I just finished running them out, putting them up, and I need to run to Lowe's. So we're going to work on changing up my porch beds, and I'll show you those when I get back, and I'll link some videos because I've showed them before, but they have not been a huge focus of mine this year. But for the winter, I think I'm going to focus on them because we are going to be retooling the garden and can't keep the goats out of there right now. So I think I'm just going to let them have it and let the chickens have it so they can till it all up, eat all the weeds out, and give up the few plants that I have left in there. So what we're doing is we're going to run to Lowe's right now because I need to get some 3/4 inch, I think that's what this is, PVC pipe. I brought a piece with me, so I had the exact size. But Steven 3D printed these brackets for me. And so what they're designed to do is to build like plastic greenhouses or frost covers over these beds. And you can customize the sizes so you can build it exactly to the size of your beds by using these brackets and PVC pipe. So we are going to work on doing that today. Get the top layer of soil out of them because the cats have been using them for a litter box. So yeah, and that's one of the problems with these beds, which is why I have not focused on them. But I'm hoping that by putting the frost fabric and shade cloth and keeping like stuff over top of them, that's going to keep the cats out, and it might be good for pests as well as for, you know, the weather issues. So we're going to work on retrofitting these porch beds. So let's go to Lowe's and find what we need. I don't know how we're supposed to get 10-foot PVC pipe home. Even though I'm in a truck, they'd be hanging way out the back. So they're going to hang out the little window and prop on the back. Yeah. Oops. Can't really see that, but it worked. Okay, so I'm just going to fast forward through this part because there's not really any wording here. Basically what I'm doing now is I'm just cleaning out all the debris from the beds, and then I took out any cat deposits and root clumps and took the soil down a little bit. And then I came back in and added some good garden tone from Epsoma organic fertilizer and a couple bags of fresh soil, and then laid out my plants. And once I was satisfied with the placement of those plants, then I put them in and watered it in. So this is just a typical process that I do every time I change these beds out. I always clean them out a little bit, take out some soil, and add fresh along with fertilizer because your container soil will deplete over time. And after so long, I will need to change out these beds completely. So I will probably do that next year, maybe at the end of the year, because that'll be their 3rd year, I believe. So, but each time I plant, so each season, twice a year, I do change out at least a few inches, if not halfway down one time, and add nutrition and fertilizer back to the beds because the soil does get depleted. So keep that in mind with your container gardens. So, all right, enjoy the process, and I'll be back to tell you what I planted in just a bit. Okay, so I have all the plants in, and I've actually planted them identical. And one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to test out 2 different cover systems. So I really wanted to keep them pretty identical. So what we have here is some early flat Dutch cabbage, and then we have a hybrid cabbage and an early Jersey Wakefield cabbage. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, approximately 5 cabbage in each bed, I believe. And they probably will not get giant since I'm putting them in so late and it's going to get really cold. So they're going to grow really slow. So I kind of did put things a little closer just because I know that they're going to grow pretty slow. So we also have some Siberian kale and some half-dead pansies that I just thought I would throw in to give it a shot. Some kohlrabi, some spinach, some arugula, some Merleville lettuce, and some escarole. Let's see, some more Bloomsdale spinach. And then we have, I can't remember what this, oh, that's the escarole. Okay. So just kind of a mix between the arugula and the kale and the cabbage. Just some fun things, and hopefully the spinach will come in really good. That will help give us fresh greens. So we have both beds planted up, and I do have 2 more cabbage, but I'm not sure I really wanted to push the limits putting those in. So what I think I will do is maybe put them, I don't know, I might put them 1 each in those planters, because those will be empty. Or I might even, I could put them in the white ones. I don't know, because I'm not going to do any flowers, I don't think. But I have a bunch of empty little planters. Like I could put both of them in this one. Or I could put one in the blue, one in there. But I might pop them in up there. That might look kind of cool. I don't know. But I will come back with part 2. Steven's going to come out and help me put the brackets that he made and everything on. And we'll probably put frost cloth over them to keep the cats out, and that will protect them as well. So, because we are going to get cold from here on out. But today we're getting a hurricane again in November. Hurricane Nicole hit Florida last night and is tracking up through Georgia and South Carolina right now, and it is scheduled to come right through the edge of the Piedmont of North Carolina and hit more on the foothills and the western side of North Carolina, with a lot of the like storm stuff on the like from mid North Carolina towards the coast. So western North Carolina and the foothills are going to get the rain and some wind, and you know, so, and then the higher risk of, I guess, the storms or whatever is to the east. So we're right in the middle. Like, it's tracking, the center of the storm is actually tracking like right up over us. So we're expecting that to come in tonight and tomorrow. So I wanted to get these plants planted. I did water them in just to give them some heavy soil and a drink to help them with the wind. But they are kind of protected. Well, I'll show you in a second. Let me turn it around here. They are kind of protected by the house, because the house is in this funky L shape with the door in the corner, which I absolutely hate. But this front porch, even though it's not covered, it actually gets a lot of protection. Now, it doesn't get protection from the sun. The sun kind of beats down on it until mid-afternoon. especially in the summer, and then the back deck just scorches you, and then this is in shade. So I guess it has a little bit of protection from the just scorching heat of the summer in the afternoons. But these beds dry out so fast in the summer. But in the winter, the winds all year actually are not terrible through here unless we just get a random storm from an unusual direction. But the winter, it's actually usually a little warmer right here because this house absorbs the heat in the brick from the sun shining on it during the day. And then it just like puts off heat in this little area. And so it's kind of protected right here and looks pretty good. I'm looking at a weird space in the roof. Does anybody else see that? It almost looks like it dips right there. And I don't know why, if it's just the way the shingles are, because this is not an old roof. We replaced it, well, actually, maybe it's been 10 years now. I don't know. It seems like we just did it, but it's actually probably been 10 years ago. It just seems like it kind of dips right there. I don't know. Anyway, sidetracked. Squirrel. So these are done, and I will come back either to, and Stephen will help me put the brackets on because I have to take our daughter to dance, and he has gotten stuck on a work meeting. So hopefully we'll get it done. I don't know if we'll get it done before the wind comes in. But anyway, thank you for joining me on this really quick project. I'm glad to have this done. I'm glad to have some garden stuff out of my garden so that we can just let that go, turn the chickens in there, stop worrying about the goats getting in there when we let them clean out the other part, and just let them have it for a few weeks until we are ready to get in there and start retooling it, because we are going to update it, put in more beds, change the fencing, and that whole area is going to get kind of a bit of a makeover. I mean, the main raised bed garden will probably stay the same, but it's going to get freshened up, and the fence is going to change, I believe. So it may change a tad bit. I'm not sure, but I'm excited about it. But I'm just, you know, everything, the goats getting in there and eating what I did have planted in there, and then it started growing back, and then they got in there again. I'm just going to give up on that. Let them have it. Let the chickens go. And we'll start over in the spring. And in the meantime, I will use these 2 container gardens for some fresh food, and I will start some microgreens. So if you don't know how to do microgreens, I do have a video on that, and I will put it up here in the link. And that way you can get some things so you can have some fresh greens over the winter as well. So anyway, I'm going to sign off. Thank you for joining me, and we will see you on the next one. Bye.